We're now in the 7th day of search and recovery efforts in Kerr County.
Tonight, thousands of people are moving along the banks of the Guadalupe River looking for any signs of the missing. Here are 3 of today's headlines from that area. More help is on the way. Tapos Azteca, a group of Mexican rescuers, will be joining the search. And with more than 100 people still unaccounted for, and at least 121 people are confirmed dead, 96 of those are from Kerr County alone.
Senator John Cornyn honored the victims on the Senate floor today, standing next to the photos of Mary Stevens and Lenny McCown. The senator says President Trump and First Lady Melania are expected in the Hill Country tomorrow and that he'll join them on the visit to the affected areas.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office is collecting items to send to the flood zone, things like bottled water, baby food, formula, and diapers, along with toiletries. You can drop items off weekdays from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon at any HCSO district substation. The deadline is next Tuesday.
Happening right now, we're taking donations for our Flood Relief Fund telethon. Just call that number on your screen, 713-654-1111, or scan the QR code there. Together, our parent company, Tegna, along with our 10 other sister stations across Texas, have already raised more than $224,000, with many donations just $25 or less. Lines will be open through 7 o'clock tonight, and thank you for helping us stand for Houston.
We have team coverage this evening for you, but let's begin with Matt Doherty. He has been stationed in Kerr County since Saturday. It's been a long, difficult week for the search teams out there, Matt.
It sure has, Mia. From the spot where we stand right now, it's about 75 feet from the top of the hill next to me, which is the house that sits on this property. It did not flood. However, that is not the case for the property that's across the river on the other side, where things were much more dangerous last week. Louise Parsley from Houston has spent much of her life here in Hunt on the property that's been a retreat for her family for a century. She took us on a tour of the town today in a golf cart to see some of the ongoing search efforts right up close. We went to the Casa Bonita development, where half of its riverfront cabins were completely flattened. 12 residents were killed, 13 were rescued. Tomorrow, Louise will attend the first of several funerals for her friends.
If anybody you talk to in the vicinity, the locals, they will not say they were abandoned, and they have a stronger faith now than they ever have.
The search crews are continuing a massive effort in Hunt today from the ground, air, and water, even horseback. They are still finding bodies nearly 1 week later. Now, Hunt is what many people are still calling ground zero for this catastrophe, and some of them are guessing that the president may stop by sometime tomorrow during his visit to Texas. Back to you.
There's so much ground to cover there alone. Matt Doherty this evening, thank you.
Right now, a family says they're thankful to be alive after escaping the rising waters. We're also learning their quick actions saved the lives of more than 20 people at an RV park in the town of Center Point. Trayson Bragg joins us in the studio with details on that. Trayson.
That's right. Well, George Davis and his family tell me having an evacuation plan in place was key to making sure everyone made it out of the Guadalupe Keys RV resort alive. But unfortunately, his home was washed away in the process.
Well, I tell you what, man, it was a long night because the thunder.
It was a very loud storm.
George Davis tells me he's the campground manager of the Guadalupe Keys RV Resort in Center Point, Texas, and had his daughter and her family visiting on the July 4th holiday. He says as the rain poured down, he did his best to track water levels.
I wasn't getting any alerts the morning of 4th of July from Ingram or Upper Kerrville. And I later figured out why. It's because those were completely destroyed by the water, from my understanding, from the water, the amount of water that was coming through. The readings I was getting they just didn't make sense.
So he decided to take action and began to help the roughly 25 people staying at the resort.
We went knocking on doors. We're like, hey, you need to grab essentials and get your cars and get out. We need to evacuate.
He says about 30 minutes later, as he and the campground's owner worked to save campers, the true danger was undeniable.
And then we hear the wall of water coming. It's moving. I mean, it's moving fast, and it sounds like kind of like a cross between a jet engine and a train. kind of rushing down the river, and you can see all the debris kind of caught up in it.
He says the water was rising quickly, and after getting everyone to safety, he popped in his camper to grab a few things.
Trevor's hollering at me. And by the time I get back, because it was dry when I went in, and when I came out, the water's knee deep around my camper.
He made it out safely, but says the water kept rising.
How high had it gotten at that point? I mean,
Man, right through that valley there, that water has rose 40, 50 feet within a matter of 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Eventually washing away the camper he called home and so much more.
Just move those campers. It's like a bob or a cork sitting on the water. It just, it's just like it was nothing.
Davis tells me he lost everything, but he remains thankful.
For me and my family to get out alive, we're blessed and we're very thankful.
Blessed indeed. Davis is now at his daughter's home in Willis while he figures out what's next. His family has set up a GoFundMe for him. You can find that link on our website, khou.com.
Trace and Brad, thank you. We continue to learn more about the people killed in the Hill Country floods. This includes a little girl whose celebration of life is set to take place this Saturday. Amanda Henderson joins us now with more about the sweet third grader. Amanda.
Well, her name is Lucy Dillon. This is her right here. She's one of the more than 20 victims of the flooding with ties to Houston. Now, the rising third grader was at camp when the floods ripped through Kerr County. Her family says she was a bright and enthusiastic student who would have been a third grader at Memorial Drive Elementary. She was a reader, corgi lover, and devoted Houston Rockets fan who dreamed of playing college basketball. And with the blessing of Lucy's parents, family friends have actually started a fund in her name, and we have that linked on our website. Mia.
Amanda, appreciate you sharing Lucy's story with us. We have even more stories about some of the victims with Houston area connections. Those are on khou.com. We know the news out of the flood zone can be difficult to hear. If you need someone to talk to, you can reach out to the Disaster Distress Helpline. Counselors are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.